Hi, Emily. I am Mary Jane Watson, President of Evercap Investment Management. We have summarized the annual report of Evercap Diversified Growth Fund with the information we think will be useful to you. This personalized video covers the performance for the 12-month period that ended September 30th, 2021. At the end of this video is a link to the full annual report. You can always navigate this video with a slider on the bottom. Do you want to hear about market overview, a quick refresher on fund performance, or skip to Evercap Diversified Growth Fund summary? At the start of the period, stocks had recovered most of the steep losses they had suffered at the onset of the pandemic. Equities rallied as states reopened their economies, but became more volatile in the fall as investors worried that a surge in COVID-19 infections would stall the recovery. However, rising corporate profits and economic growth, the resolution of the U.S. presidential election, and the global rollout of approved vaccines lifted equity markets to record levels, helping stocks around the globe post gains for the full period. In general, fund performance is comprised of the following three investment objectives. Fees. As with any business, running a mutual fund involves costs. Investment companies pass along these costs to investors by charging fees and expenses. Fees and expenses vary from fund to fund. Even small differences in fees can mean large differences in returns over time. For example, if you invested $10,000 in a fund with a 10% annual return and annual operating expenses of 1.5%, after 20 years, you would have roughly $49,725. If you invested in a fund with the same performance and expenses of 0.5%, after 20 years, you would end up with $60,858. Performance. While past performance does not guarantee future results and will depend upon the market conditions, the most common performance measures are the returns after 1 year, after 5 years, and since inception. We also compare against the fund's benchmark index. Holdings. Mutual fund holdings are the various stocks, bonds, and other securities held within a fund. When you buy shares in a mutual fund, your shares are allocated proportionally to the various securities held by the fund. Mutual fund managers decide what holdings to add to the total portfolio based on the objectives of the fund. The total holdings of two funds can vary significantly. If, for example, one is an S&P 500 index and the other is a small-cap fund. These are designed for very different levels of risk and reward. Let's take a look at the key highlights of this fund. Remember, you can always refer to the full annual report by clicking on the link below. The fund was incepted in October of 2007. Here are the 1, 5, and 10 years returns. If you had invested $10,000 at the inception of this fund, your current value of the investment would be $52,794. This is how the fund compares against its benchmark. Now that we know how the fund has performed, let's take a look at the top holding on the fund. Here is an example based upon a hypothetical investment intended to help you understand your ongoing costs in dollars of investing in this fund. Your manager for this fund is Andrew Smith, who has over 10 years' experience in fund management. Thank you for trusting Evercap for your investment needs. It is an honor to serve you as a customer. You can find additional literature about this fund by visiting the link evercapfunds.com/literature.